I have co-sponsored and voted for the measure to pare back the film tax credits. However, it brings up an interesting point. This type of business is migratory. Without some incentive, they won't come here. The current credit is overly generous and needs to be pared back. But to eliminate it is to tell that industry to go someplace else. I favor retaining some ability to use carrots to lure businesses here in certain industries. The current administration, though, has misused it. There's no transparency. You may have read about the criminal who received a tax credit in Flint and then was hauled off to jail. But throwing away the tools is the wrong answer. They need to be sharpened and properly used. A good example, the battery industry. Michigan, with its manufacturing capacity, we should be the place to produce battery technology. We can be, but we need to have something to lure that business here. The other issue, though, is that the governor has tried to hit home runs with big business, and she's forgot about the small entrepreneur, the small business. And the single complaint I get in my office as a legislator is the permitting process. I've sponsored, voted for, co-sponsored legislation that would speed the permitting process, that would require a business assessment before any new rules are written, that would require creation of a single-stop shop for permitting. It's Senate Bill 1074. Some of these have been voted for, sent over to the House, haven't been taken up. A couple have been vetoed by the governor. So it's not just tax policy, it's also creating an efficient and an environmentally friendly atmosphere for small business. Thank you.
The film tax credit is a clear indication that Michigan's tax policy is broken. To have to pay somebody 42 cents on the dollar to come to Michigan says it is broken. All right? MEDC is broken because MEDC is what? It is a bribe to come to Michigan because the tax structure is broken. And what we've learned here is that tax policy makes a difference in terms of jobs. That's why we need a fundamental restructuring of the tax code, getting rid of the MBT, getting rid of personal property, and getting rid of the non-homestead, or for a massive overhaul of the tax code, and it has to be done quickly. It can't go through phases. We got to get done with it as much as we can very quickly, because we got to tell people Michigan is open for business. Now, Michigan has a terrible reputation. The problem with the film tax credit is we promise people so much extra if they would come to Michigan. People invested in Michigan based on that promise. Now, if you go back and you radically change it in a quick, short period of time, what will the message be to the business community? Don't work with Michigan. They don't keep their promise. They promise you one thing one day, you invest, and a little while later they take it all away from you. It needs to be reformed, but it needs to be reformed over a period of time so that we don't continue to tarnish the reputation that Michigan is a bad place to do business. We just got to say we're a great place to do business, and we're going to be a legitimate and ethical place to do business.
It's 9:30. We thank all four of you for being here. I'd like to close by having all of you sum it up, and I'm going to go in reverse order this time. We've done the same order all night. We'll give Mike Bouchard a chance to sit back, listen to everybody else, and we'll put the heat on Pete Hoekstra to lead it off in closing and give you a couple minutes.
I'll be less than a couple of minutes. Michigan's future begins with you. Thanks for being out here. Pay attention to this campaign. Pick a candidate that you like. Work like crazy. When we get to the primary and we get through the primary, come together. You know, work hard, make sure we win in November, and we can bring Michigan back. I've got a high degree of confidence. You've got a lot of good choices. Pick a candidate, work hard for the next 9 months to make sure that you will set the future for Michigan. No one else will do it for you. We need your involvement.
Thank you. It's been great being here with you tonight. It's great to be part of this exciting movement. I never would have guessed, the 25 years ago when I settled in Kalamazoo, that I'd be someday running for governor and still practicing medicine part-time. We have a great opportunity, like our forebears 150 years ago, to turn Michigan in a new direction. Let's do it. Let's make change. Of the 5 candidates running who are Republicans, I'm the only one who's endorsed the idea of a constitutional convention. You've heard all the arguments for major structural reform. I know some of you are just thinking about it for the first time. It's going to be on the ballot this fall. It's a key element to making change in Michigan, making some of the structural reforms you've heard about. A new governor is not going to be able to do it alone. I appreciate your listening tonight. I'm the candidate that you didn't know anything about. But I'm a good candidate, and I deserve to be on the ballot. I need your help. Because I'm not as well known, you didn't see any ads about me on the Super Bowl. You don't see me on Fox TV. But I'm a good candidate, and you can help me get on the ballot by signing my petition as you leave tonight, and you can learn more about me at my website, georgeforgovernor.com. Thank you so much.
Again, I want to thank this great organization, you all, for coming out tonight and caring enough to come out and listen and see what's going on. And of course, I want to thank the great voice of the Great Lakes, 9 to noon, for hosting this. I'm running for governor for this simple reason. My parents came here in 1949, 1950, because Michigan was the economic engine of America. It was the economic envy of the whole free world. When they were over in Ireland, they read about Michigan. They didn't read about New Jersey or Florida or California or Kentucky or Tennessee. They read about Michigan. This was the place to be. Unfortunately, too many of our children are going back to the places where our parents and grandparents came from when they came looking for opportunity right here in Michigan. We all can do something about it. We all can take it within our hands and do something about it. And that's the great thing about you being out here. Go to my plan, MikeCox2010.com, and you're going to see it's a pro-growth, liberty-infused plan. But most of all, when you get beyond that, think about who's running for governor who stood up for you. Who stood up for you when it's been unpopular? Who went against the president when there was only 4 other states that were willing to go against the president? Who stood up for you to ensure that your children get treated equally when they apply to U of M or MSU, and that there are no racial preferences? Who stood up for you, all 10 of your Bill of Rights, and who's defended the Constitution? Who's a fighter for you, whether it's against Barack Obama's health care or whether it's against Blue Cross trying to monopolize and raise prices on everyone? There's one candidate, I believe, and that's been the proud son of Irish immigrants who came here, made good, and wants to leave that same heritage and greatness for his children, for your children, and for all our grandchildren. Thank you very, very much.
Last, I'm the one standing between you and the door. But I've done that before in other roles. I thank you all for being here. I thank you for caring enough about our state and our country to be involved. I thank you for being patriots. I thank Frank for being the voice of reason, common sense, and sanity on a radio that is often very lacking. We do have some great candidates, and Tom's a great guy, and I would want him to put me to sleep if I had to. But just briefly, and I've said this before, I love Tom, but you know, every job requires the skill. If I put you to sleep, you wouldn't wake up. And the next governor needs to have the skill set on the first day and the first hour to know what to do, how to do it, and willing to do it. Everybody's got a plan. Who can implement a plan? And for me, I've been there and done that. I was a leader in the Senate when we reformed welfare, when we cut taxes, when we remade our whole process and our regulatory system, busted up the DNR and the DEQ and made them accountable. All of the things that we're talking about now, as Yogi Berra said, process and our regulatory system, busted up the DNR and the DEQ and made them accountable. All of the things that we're talking about now, as Yogi Berra said, it's deja vu all over again. So I know what to do because I've done it. And as sheriff of one of the largest agencies in America, I've had to make tough choices. And these aren't just, you know, everyday choices. These are often life and death choices. So I'm confident, why as bad as things are on a number of levels, that we have hope.